for millions of us, there's a crisis brewing just under the surface, one that could wash away not just our homes, but the very value they're built on. We're talking about a hidden financial risk, a housing bubble that could derail the entire market. So, let's dive into what's really going on here. It all really comes down to this one question. And it's a big one. Is your home's value, and the value of millions of others, literally built on water? The answer? Well, it's pretty unsettling. Okay, first, let's talk about the most immediate threat. There is a government-mandated time bomb, and it is quietly ticking away, threatening to throw a huge wrench into the real estate market for so many families. Go ahead and circle this date on your calendar. This is when the National Flood Insurance Program, what folks call the NFIP, is set to expire. And I have to stress this. The keyword here is again. This is not some one-off problem. It's a cycle of chaos that just keeps happening. And the potential for disruption here is just staggering. If this program is allowed to lapse, we're looking at an estimated 41,300 home sales getting stopped in their tracks every single month. That is a massive blow to the housing market. And look, this isn't some abstract problem spread evenly across the country. No way. The risk is incredibly focused. Just look at Florida. It is by far the most dependent, with almost 15,000 home sales a month hanging in the balance. But other huge states like Texas and California are also seriously exposed. So you've got to be asking yourself, why? Why does this keep happening over and over again? Well, and this is crucial to understand, this constant instability, it's not an accident. It's actually become a built-in feature of a system that is fundamentally broken. So before we go any further, what exactly is the NFIP? Well, it's this huge federal program. It's basically the main source of flood insurance in the country, providing an incredible $1.3 trillion in coverage to more than 4.6 million American homeowners. For homes in flood-prone areas, it's the bedrock of the entire market. And believe me, this is not a new problem. The program's history is just chaotic. It lapsed 4 different times between 2008 and 2012. And get this, back in 2010, one of those lapses completely derailed 1,400 home sales per day. Since 2017, Congress has just kicked the can down the road with, wait for it, 34 short-term extensions. So constant instability has basically become the new normal. And it's not just homeowners who are fed up. I mean, just read this quote from a coalition of mortgage lenders and insurers. The very industries that prop up the housing market are practically begging lawmakers for a permanent, stable fix. But here's the real story. This political gridlock, it isn't just about fighting over budgets. It's about something much deeper and, honestly, a lot more frightening. It's about a massive, hidden financial risk that's lurking just beneath the surface, and nobody really wants to talk about it. And here it is, the bombshell. A peer-reviewed study published in the super prestigious journal Nature Climate Change calculated that because we do such a bad job of accounting for real flood risk, U.S. homes are overvalued by a staggering $187 billion. Yeah, let's just let that number sink in. $187 billion. Experts have a name for this. They're calling it the climate housing bubble. It's a bubble built on a foundation of outdated information and really a collective denial about the true risks we're facing. So what's propping this whole thing up? Well, it's actually shockingly simple: old maps. The entire National Flood Insurance Program is based on FEMA maps that are dangerously out of date. They just do not reflect the new reality of flooding in a changing climate. But this is where the real danger is hidden. You would think most of this risk is inside the official designated flood zones, right? Nope. Wrong. An absolutely mind-blowing 83% of that overvalued property is outside of FEMA's official high-risk areas. These are the homes that people think are safe. So clearly the system is broken. But here's the good news. Experts actually have a plan for how we can fix this program and, hopefully, deflate this bubble before it pops. The proposal really boils down to 3 common-sense pillars. First, and this is the big one, we have to modernize the maps to reflect reality. Second, let's bring the private insurance market into the fold to create more options and healthy competition. And third, we need to invest in projects that actually reduce flood risk in the first place. And that last point, prevention, it's absolutely critical. I mean, the return on investment here is just incredible. Research shows that for every single dollar we invest in mitigation efforts, we save $13 in future losses. It's not just about being safer, it's a financial no-brainer. The market isn't just sitting around and waiting. Private companies are already stepping up. They're starting to offer the kind of super detailed property by property climate risk data that the government just isn't providing. It just goes to show you there's a huge demand for better information from everyone involved. Okay, so we've talked about this huge national problem, but what does all this uncertainty really mean for you as a homeowner or maybe someone looking to buy a home? Let's break down some practical advice. So, if the program does lapse again, first things first, don't panic. Here's what happens. If you already have a policy, it's safe. The huge problem is that no new policies can be written, and that's what frees up home sales. Now, private insurance isn't affected at all, which is a great reminder to always shop around for options beyond just the federal program. At the end of the day, this quote from Redfin's chief economist really nails it. No matter what happens in Washington, D.C., all of us as homeowners have to be proactive. We need to think of these risks not as some far-off possibility, but as an ongoing reality that demands a plan. And that leaves us with one final and really important question. When you remember that 83% of this hidden risk is outside the official flood maps, it's something every single one of us should be asking. Is my home in a flood zone that I don't even know about? Because finding out the answer could change everything.